The most terrifying man in our shelter walked in on Christmas Eve carrying a red and green bag. It was absolutely huge. Stuffed so full he was using both arms just to hold it against his chest. Giles was the creepiest person we knew. He never talked, never smiled, disappeared some nights. He once made a kid pee himself out of fear with just eye contact. Giles walked straight to the first family and opened the bag. Everyone was thinking the same thing. What was in there? He reached his hand in slowly, made eye contact with them, and pulled out 3 pairs of thick wool socks and a thermos. He tossed it to them and moved on before they could thank him. We all sat stunned. Giles has never shown emotion, and he was homeless just like us. Why was he doing this? Where were these gifts from? Did he even buy them? He walked over to the next family and again, socks and a thermos. He repeated this until he reached the Woodies. Their little girl had a chest infection. You could hear her crying from the painful cough every night. Giles pulled out a jar of chest rub, not the dollar store kind, the good kind. Mrs. Woody started crying and went to hug him. He moved on before she could even stand up. Then he moved to an old woman with a dog so skinny its ribs were showing. He pulled out a 5-pound bag of dog food. Then he got to me. He reached into the bag and pulled out gloves for my mom. Then he handed me a deck of cards with a football on the pack. My jaw fell on the floor. I love cards. I love football, but I'd never told him that. How did he know? I asked, but he didn't respond, just kept walking. When he finished handing everything out, Mrs. Graham stood. Sir, thank you so. Stop. He stared her in the eyes and walked right past. Sat down in his corner. Same stone face as always, but you could feel everyone else's energy shift. People were trying on new socks and whispering about what just happened. My mom has arthritis, so I was helping her put on her new gloves. That's when Tanner and Xavier walked over to me. 18 and 17-year-old brothers. They've been harassing me and mom since week 1, taking our food, saying things to mom that make her look at the floor. Nobody does anything. They're too big and nobody wants to get involved. Tanner looked at the cards in my hand. Why do you get a cool gift and we get socks? Xavier nodded. Yeah, man. Tanner stepped closer. Nice deck. Give it here. I looked down. No, they laughed. Wasn't asking. Xavier grabbed the cards in my hand. I held on. We tugged until the box ripped. Cards suddenly spilled everywhere. My mom stood up. Leave him alone! Tanner shoved her onto the floor. Don't touch her! I shoved him back. Xavier punched me. I fell to the floor. My nose started bleeding. I looked up. Xavier was kicking my cards around. Should have given them, little man. Then a voice came from behind them. Give it back. They turned around. Giles was standing there, face like stone. First words I'd ever heard from him. Tanner laughed. Or what, old man? I said, give it back. Xavier stepped toward him. Giles didn't move. Xavier kicked him in the kneecap hard. Giles dropped and hit the floor. They stood over him looking down. I looked around the shelter from the floor. Nobody moved. Mr. Woody had his back turned. The person at the front desk was scrolling her phone. 50 people. Not one stepped forward. Xavier crouched down next to Giles. I want to see you eat that dog food you bought. Do it or I'll hit you again. Giles lifted his head slowly, made eye contact with Xavier. Then he rolled up his sleeve. There was a scar on his forearm. Not a regular scar, shaped like some symbol I didn't recognize, but Tanner and Xavier recognized it. Their faces turned ghost white. Xavier stood so fast he tripped over his own feet. I said, give it back. Giles' voice was the same, flat, but this time it sounded like their last chance. Tanner bent down and picked up my cards immediately. His fingers trembled so bad he dropped them twice. Sorry, he said. His voice cracked. We didn't know. We didn't go. Xavier backed up so fast he tripped over a sleeping bag. They ran away without looking back. Giles got up slowly. Everyone was staring. I walked up to him. Sir? He looked at me. Same hard face. How did you know I liked football and cards? He stared for a second. You doodle footballs on your napkins sometimes. And you asked the front desk if they had cards 3 weeks ago. I realized he'd been watching everything. Then I asked the question that burned in my mind. Where did you get the money for the presents? He was quiet for a moment. I've been stocking shelves at the grocery store nearby for the last 8 months, he said, after close. They give me $3 an hour. That's why I'm sometimes gone for the night. My eyes went wide. Why did you spend your money on us? Giles looked around the shelter. When I first got here, a stranger gave me a pair of socks. Kindest thing anyone ever did for me. His voice was still flat. I wanted to make someone feel how that stranger made me feel. He started to turn away. Wait, what's that mark mean? On your arm? He stopped. You're too young to know, but if those boys bother you again, remind them of it. They'll stop. He walked to his corner, sat down, same flat face as always, but this time, I swear I saw a tear forming in his eye.